Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you're going to design your poster. There is no magic bullet. You guys have free reign to do something. Your goal is, just like one of our key learning aspects is be a better communicator of, visual communicator of quantitative information, all that kind of stuff, right? And these are examples from our capstone students, but the same thing applies for your disaster case study, for something you're doing with, who knows, Dr. Fairfax, Dr. Steele, whoever, right? And so the first thing I want you to see is, this is a little hard when we're on our screen, but this type of information communication is designed for people to see from afar, right? Designed for, so just like where you guys are, and here, we'll turn the camera, guys. Look at everybody there, everybody excited. Very excited. So just about how far you guys are away is the right distance. So everybody should be able to, right now, stand where you are and easily read the title, easily read the text. Does that work for people? Can you guys read those? No. So one no. So you guys walk this way. Here, come down here. Stand in front of the posters. How about that?
I should be wearing my glasses.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's okay. Okay, so if you need glasses, you can take one step forward, maybe, but just a little. But everybody else that has their glasses on, you guys can see that. Is it? Yeah? Are in agreement? Okay. So the idea is that's why we have that. That's why I have that minimum font size, right? So that can you do smaller? Yeah, I suppose. Like here's a chunk. Here's some acknowledgments. So acknowledgments, references, those can be smaller because if someone's really getting into it, they can come up and look. But the labels on our figures, the text in our text box, those should be easily readable from afar. That's the idea. The other thing, okay, so that's it, right? They can be a mix of text boxes, actual full sentences and actual paragraphs and the like. That's totally fine. They can also be bulleted summaries, bulleted text. If you do bulleted text, it does not need to be a complete sentence. It does not need to be perfect grammar. Instead of saying five hurricanes struck within a year, you can, instead of saying FIVE, you can use the number 5. Instead of saying lots of people were hurt and killed, you could use the ampersand sign instead of AND. So all the various tricks are available to you, and that'll just come with practice. The other thing here, I've given you a template, so everybody has a template. You guys can start with that, but you don't have to be. So I've put a text box here, and a text box here, and a text box here, and a table here, and whatever. You do not need to stick to that. However, how people typically in our country, look at these things is they'll first look and they'll see the title. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you guys, stare at these posters for a second. So pick one poster that's in front of you. So what drew your eye most? Or let me say, what drew your eye first when you first glance at this? The picture. Okay, the picture. So the visuals. So the colors, the graphical elements. Yeah? Everybody agreed? Okay, but most of these have multiple graphics. So that dude has some bar graphs, has some pine tree seedlings, has a map, has a bar graph. This one has a map, has a bar graph, has a line chart, has some sort of logistics pictures. So for your one, which graphic do you look at first? When you kind of close your eyes, open your eyes, what do you see first when you look at that? Okay, the map in the center. So Em says for that one, she's looking at the one that's in the graphic. It's most central to the figure or poster. Anybody else?
What I notice is I see all these like fancy colors, and I'll catch my eye and go, "Oh, what's that about?" And then I'll read the title.
Right. Yeah. So the way most people will see this stuff is they'll walk up and they'll see a graphical element. Generally speaking, most people are going to be drawn to the graphical element towards the centroid, the middle part of the poster, / the most colorful thing, right? Then they'll tend to like, wozes, and they'll tend to wozes, go up to the top, the upper chunk of the poster, and look at that. And what's the title say? And then they'll tend to jump to other graphical elements. And then once they kind of go like, oh, this is something, what the hell is this kind of deal? Then they'll kind of go whoop up over here, upper left, and then tend to move down, and then tend to move up to the middle, and then move down, and then tend to move up to the middle on the right-hand side and move down. In our country, if we are in a place, and so that's because that's how we read, right? That's how we go through text. If we're in another country like China that orients their text in a different way, our eyes culturally, we would tend to move to a different chunk of the poster. But for us, since we're in the US, that's how stuff goes. So generally speaking, the first part, like you're in the context of our disaster case study, that would be the pre-disaster context. So what was the setup to that event? So that's going to want to be up here, and then kind of work our way down to here. And then once we finish that part, we'll work our way up here and go down and then over here. So your template, your case study template, is set up with roughly 3 columns. And so I would encourage you as a first step, try using those. But you guys are more than welcome to move stuff around. I wouldn't have part 4 over here and part 2 over here. But you know, note that one of the effective ways is this is not solid text, right? This is not solid text. So this is text mixed with questions, mixed with pictures, mixed with other pictures, mixed with some other text, with some other pictures, right? So generally speaking, the most effective presentation is something that is heterogeneous. It's something that's kind of, you know, mixed. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Also, I'll have you note that if you do have a map or a particular illustration of something that's really key, maybe you're talking about a hurricane and it's a big hurricane, or maybe it's what might it be? Maybe it is the disaster going on, and then the disaster recovery. Check out what a lot of folks have done here. So in this case, they're talking about this area. Don't know what this post is about. Haven't read it yet. Don't know, but let me just glance at it. Here is, they're talking about this north place, this purple place. The word north is purple. There's purple bars. There's purple map. Up here is a red point, or here's a red location, and then here's a red trail. And then here are some pictures. Here are some pictures outlined in red, right? Those are all ways to help lead you through stuff. So to reinforce the themes, yes, you could be an expert and read the poster and get it all and understand it. But as someone that's coming into this and hasn't spent much time there, that's a nice visual crutch. Purple, 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 purple. That's probably all the same stuff, right? And that's helpful. So one of the tool, or one of the formats for these posters, is for initially introducing ideas to people, right? And so typically these would be, for example, like these are out on our wall, out in front of your lab, out in front of the offices of the county government, out at a scientific conference, that type of stuff. So this is gonna be where people first encounter this stuff, and we want to help them get through it as best as possible. Super small text, ultra wordy, low resolution photos, all that stuff is a big middle finger to your audience. It says, I don't care about you. You're not important. By doing a well-designed, well-laid out, well-constructed poster, you are say, hey man, I totally respect you, and I want to communicate this important information. In your case, it's about disasters, but it could be about whatever, your research, your scholarship, whatever. And I really want you to understand this. So I really want to help you. I want to bring you along with me on this journey, right? That's the idea. Cool? Questions? Okay, cool. So let's